Shelter bed nights to 33 victims and their kids. This all happened last year. And a lot of this happens because of what we're doing right here. Because of the pain that you are going through right now with your shoes, your heels, your legs. You are able to help these people, our neighbors, our family, our friends. And we want to thank you very much for being part of this event. Thank you guys so very much. All right, so I think we have finished all the photos. You guys in the back, move your way over here. Everything you're going to want to see, everything you're going to want to be part of is happening right here in the next 2 minutes. So you want to kind of shuffle your way in. By a show of hands, who is doing this event for the first time? Who's doing it for the first time? Give these folks a nice round of applause. Who is doing this for the second time? Who's doing this for the second time? All right, how about third time? Fourth time? Fifth time? Who has been here all 6 years? The veterans. Thank you so very much. All right, guys, my name is Nazi, and I'm going to be your MC for the evening. I promise I'm going to be putting my shoes on in just a little bit. I tore my ACL, right? I had the muscle on top of my ACL tear, so it kind of hurts to wear them, but I will as soon as the walk kicks off. All right, right now I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine. She is from the General Federation of Women's Clubs, and she is a very, very proud supporter of the Crisis Center of Central New Hampshire. Let's have a nice round of applause for Mary McCann.
Good evening, everyone. Isn't this great? Yes, indeedy. Well, as my friend over here said, I am with the Concord Contemporary Club. And the Concord Contemporary Club on November 1st is going to be putting on our 4th Mr. Concord pageant, which our host over here, he was a contestant. Our other host over here, Dana, he was a contestant. The gentleman behind me was a contestant. So I'm inviting you all to come. It is on November 1st at 6 p.m. at the Grapponi Conference Center. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. And the proceeds go to where? The Crisis Center. Woo! So, if you have any questions or anything, you can give me a wink over here. And you could go online and Eventbrite and get the tickets. We want to have the full house, just like we've got here tonight. And in case you've got any question, I'm a judge. So sign them up, young men. And I want to introduce Brian Harlow. He was one of our contestants last year, and he's going to tell you how much fun it is.
Hey, Asha. Hi. Come on, boys. See the photo. He's just jealous because he would have remembered that. Yeah, what? I wore high heels. Oh, yeah. The neighborhood girls are like kick out and come over and they dress them up. Hi.
A lot of help. Yeah. Thanks. No, like Mira was saying, I was honored to be asked to be in Mr. Concord, as was Dana, a lot of guys in the audience, and we had a lot of fun. But and we raised a lot of money, just like every other year did. But the main reason that I wanted to compete was that the real winner was the Crisis Center and the amazing work they do. And tonight it's Walk a Mile, it's not Mr. Concord. And it's Walk a Mile in her shoes, but the Crisis Center serves women, men, children of every age, denomination, race, sexual orientation. They don't discriminate because sexual violence, unfortunately, doesn't discriminate. But Mr. Concord, it was something I tried very much to avoid doing because I don't like speaking in front of people. But I met some amazing people, and it's the most fun you can have on a Friday night, being embarrassed and sober. At least I was sober. But no, so great to be here tonight, and look forward to raising more money for the Crisis Center. They can stretch a dollar like nobody can. and it's a vital need. And thanks for coming out and doing your best to end domestic violence in New Hampshire.
All right, and now we'd like to introduce our Walk a Mile in Her Shoes chairman, Mr. Dana Dexter.
So I'm Dana Dexter. I am a Concord Police detective and also the chairman of the Walk a Mile Committee for 2019. Welcome to our 6th annual event. I just wanted to take a moment. I have a few prepared remarks and I will read them because I don't want to forget anybody. So thank you all for coming. I look forward to this event every year because it's a time when our community gathers to support an organization that spends their time supporting others in some of their darkest times. I'd like to thank this year's Walk a Mile Committee, Jen Pearson, Wendy Jensen, Tina Smith, Marianne Fleischman, Christy Spalding, Mary Began, and Karen McNamara for their work, as well as the staff of the Crisis Center and all the volunteers who made tonight happen. Thank you to all those who registered to walk and gathered donations. Without you, this event would be a flop. Another person who I owe a thank you to is Chief Bradley Osgood from Concord PD. Chief Osgood has been a supporter of this event and has graciously let Officer Christy Spalding and I work on this committee representing Concord PD. So thank you, Chief. Finally, a thank you to all those who sponsor and donate to Walk a Mile, including the Concord Police Patrolmen's Association, who sponsored my team. Some of you donors are here in person, and many of you are in social media land waiting for videos and pictures to be posted. We as a group thank you for all of your donations. I do want to remind you that yesterday kicked off another portion of this fundraiser called Cocktails for a Cause. We have several area restaurants and bars that have developed a special CCCNH cocktail for the month of October. For every cocktail that is ordered, the Crisis Center will receive a portion of the cost of that drink. You'll be provided with the voting card, and that will allow you to score the drink, the presentation, and the information given about the Crisis Center. Remember, there is no limit to how many of those locations you go to or how many times you sample one of those drinks. But let's make sure to enjoy this event in a safe manner and ensure we all get home safe. All of the participating restaurants can be found on the Crisis Center Facebook page. Make sure that you like the Facebook page. Everybody will be listed there and you'll be able to see pictures of their cocktails. So thank you all for coming today to help our community say no more to domestic and sexual violence. All right, I'll let you. All right, you might want to lower this.
All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen Pearson. I'm the Executive Director of the Crisis Center, so thank you all for coming out today and for all of your support. I know that it's been kind of a difficult year in the Concord area, the Pembroke area, but I wanted to take a minute to thank everybody who worked so closely and so diligently with us. Where are my friends from the Pembroke PD? There they are back there. So I want to give just huge kudos to the Pembroke Police Department for all of their collaboration with us and bringing us in to help the victims of Pembroke Academy. And with that being said, I want to welcome our speaker. She is a teacher at Pembroke Academy. I've become very close with her and just admire her so much. And please come up, Miss Lori McGinley.
Thank you. This is so impressive to see this crowd up here.
I'm just here to tell a little story about trying to make a difference and the big story of the difference that the Crisis Center does on a day-to-day basis. I know we all wonder about making a difference at some point. I can remember being young and wanting to be a doctor because that so clearly made a difference. They save lives. But we all have roles to play, and in all of those roles, we can be somebody who makes a difference in somebody else's life. It's part of being a community, and there's always opportunities. Sometimes, for me, I might hear something, a voice that's a bit off, or some words that I don't expect to hear from someone, and they alarm me. Probably happens to you too. We see something that's just not quite right, something that ignites our gut reaction, or what I like to say, my spidey sense, or it just raises questions. It might not be real obvious. It's so hard to know when to take a step. When should you wait for more information? Or when should you just listen to people who are saying it's probably nothing? Last year that happened to me. I had just moved to the Concord area. I was to a new teaching position in a new school, a new environment. I didn't really have many local connections or resources like I did at my old school. So I wasn't sure if what I was hearing was just my unfamiliarity with the environment, or if my spidey senses were really telling me something was definitely up. In the hallways and even in my classroom, I was hearing bits and pieces of stories that just didn't seem right. Nothing exactly laid out, just little fragments. I teach health, so human sexuality is one of our classroom topics. I find that when kids start talking and they start asking questions, sometimes these give you just a glimpse of what the real questions or concerns are that they have. When that started happening, it was a motivator. I needed to find some local resources, and I felt lucky enough to find Jen and the Crisis Center. Because she's super awesome, and because, unfortunately, there are too many victims of sexual abuse, she was so busy and booked up that we were planning for her to come into my room this next school year. But as we connected, unbeknownst to me, events were unfolding behind the scenes. Suddenly, Jen let me know that her time was cleared and she was able to come into my classes. She spent 90 minutes with each class during the week, helping students learn about and find the boundaries between healthy and unhealthy relationships, to figure out the conversation of consent and that it's ongoing, and find their voice in that. It was good, a relief to me actually, to hear and see this work. Then the news broke. There was a predator at our school and several victims. A senior had been arrested. The Crisis Center was back in the school, this time as a friendly face, to be available to students or staff to access, to ask questions, get guidance, tell their story. So many were affected in different ways and didn't really know how to deal with it all. Some of us might think or wish that high school students didn't have to deal with all this, but those of us who are just a wee bit older know that it's always been there. It wasn't talked about in the hopes that it would just go away. The looks, the whispers, all of it. There wasn't much in the way of resources, just the advice, get on with your life and leave this behind. Maybe some people did, I don't know. I know that I've never met someone who could, not without some help, some understanding, and a lot of rebuilding. The crisis centers do this work with victims. Just as importantly, they have events like this, and they go into schools and classrooms like mine. They educate, they challenge the secrecy, the victim blaming. They, we, you are changing the culture, empowering the victims of sexual abuse and eliminating their excuses. When I was asked to talk here, I was a little flattered, but I didn't really get it. When I was told how many students had reached out to the Crisis Center after inviting her into my classroom, I literally cried. It made a difference. And you guys are all making a difference today. With your visibility, with your donations, everything towards this important work. You see, I'm a survivor from a day when people didn't get involved. This time, I simply made a call The Crisis Center got involved, did all the work, and a lot of young victims now have Ally. I'm looking forward to having them in classroom again this year and seeing all of you. You can see all the people who are here to help make a difference. My story is just one small part. Thank you.
So again, huge thank you to everybody in the Pembroke area. I can't say enough about the collaboration and how much it affected and helped the students and the victims that were affected by that event. So I just want to talk a little bit about our Fleischman Award now. The Fleischman Award is an award that we do every year at this event. So if you're new to the event, you are new to the Fleischman Award. And the award goes out to somebody who shows exemplary performance and volunteerism in the community throughout the entire year. So we are now going to invite Rob and Marianne Fleischman to the stage to present this year's award.
This year's recipient spends much of his time as an advocate for those in need, and this is nothing new to him. He served on the planning committee to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Boston Globe's Spotlight series, which exposed the cover-up of the Catholic clergy sex abuse in the Boston Diocese. In 2012, he began serving as a co-leader of the New Hampshire chapter of a national organization that aids families and victims of religious-based sexual violence. After moving to Concord, he has continued to advocate for those affected by sexual or domestic violence and stalking. He serves on the board of the New Hampshire Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. He volunteers for many local organizations, including Making Strides Against Breast Cancer event. He was the second runner-up in the 2018 annual Mr. Concord pageant. He is a dedicated advocate for the Crisis Center of Central New Hampshire. He can always be counted on. He serves as an advocate for the clients of the center. He, as you noticed, speaks at events. You may have heard him tonight. He staffs tables for the Crisis Center at events. He's available at a moment's notice for any need that they have over at the shelter or the offices. I believe this summer he came over within a matter of minutes to help install some air conditioning units on a very hot day. He is known to drop off food at the offices or the shelter just to brighten somebody's day. And to quote Jen Pearson, the executive director, he saves us. It is my pleasure to give this year's Fleischman Award to Brian Harlow.
Thank you. I didn't know anything about this, but yeah, ending domestic violence and sexual assault in New Hampshire, it's on all of us. It's not just on the overworked women at the Crisis Center. Yeah, I have nothing prepared, but thanks and have a great walk.
All right, before we get going, I want to thank our sponsors once again. I want to thank Eastern Bank, 1055 JYY. I want to thank Merrimack County Savings Bank, Bank of New Hampshire, Concord Eye Care, Co-ed Sportswear, Cleary Cleaners, New Hampshire Distributors, Concord Food Co-op, Concord Coach Lines, and the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. All right,
do the awards, we'll come back, and you want to do them all.
All right. So I think we are ready to start the walk. Who's ready? To hand out some of the awards. Of course, we would want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out, being part of this. These are his regular shoes. These aren't even his big high heels. These are his daily shoes. We got to thank our sponsors: Eastern Bank, 1055 JYY, Merrimack County Savings Bank, Bank of New Hampshire, Concord Eye Care, Co-ed Sportswear, Cleary Cleaners, New Hampshire Distributors, Concord Food Co-op, the Concord Coach Lines, Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire, and now it's time to announce our winners. We're going to start first with the biggest team. This should be no surprise. Representing in the red, let's hear it for St. Paul's School. Can we get one representative from St. Paul's to come up? This young lady right here, thank you very much. She's got her no, we believe you. We believe you. You don't have to strip. You're fine. Okay. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Thank you. All right, let's do the largest team fundraiser. Stilettos on the Side of Love. Largest team fundraiser. There you go, pose. Thank you very much. Next up. The largest individual fundraiser goes to, and do we have a number? We're trying to pull it up. Miss Marianne Fleischman. $7,000. $1,330. Oh my goodness. Thank you. And the award for best shoe goes to the person that's going to strut up here and work the runway in those shoes, George Young. Come on! Oh, we already took him off. George, he had you had the hat on too, didn't you? You had the whole outfit, didn't you? He's putting it on. While George is getting back in his outfit. So as of right now, online total, this is not what we've collected so far today, this number will go up. We have raised online over $44,677, guys. And it is still climbing. You've still got time. You can get to the Facebook page. You can share it. You can hashtag it. Please, let everybody know what went on here today. It takes it takes a while to look good. Okay, really quick.
So just a quick reminder about Cocktails for a Cause. Some of the participating restaurants, the Barley House, Chuck's Barbershop, Revival, O's Steak and Seafood, The Draft, just to name a few. Whiskey and Wine. You come up here. So enjoy one, enjoy many, go several times, it's the whole month. What else about Cocktails for a Cause?
If you go onto our Facebook page, it will be updated daily. Right now there's a list of who's participating and their drink, but each day we will highlight the drink and all the ingredients. So make sure, oh, here he comes. I want to thank the committee for everything that they did this year to make this happen. I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, everybody who fundraised, all the sponsors, all the walkers. It is starting to rain, so I will let everybody run to their cars in their heels, but thank you again for another successful event.
Yes.